Yep, okay, great. Thank you for inviting us. So, I'm in front of you today because of this lovely lady, my grandmother. She was an amazing human being, giving, loving, what a caretaker, and we kind of failed her. Long story short, my memories of my grandmother are not represented in this photograph. If you take a look at her, she's now no longer smiling. This woman she was so funny. She said the best jokes. She would constantly smile and laugh. But she was so humiliated because of her poor dental condition that she no longer smiled. She no longer left her assisted living facility. And she kind of closed up as a human being. You can see her cheeks are hollow because she couldn't eat, because she was in so much pain. And she didn't sleep well because people, it turns out, don't sleep if you're in pain. And I'm really worried, as a microbiologist and a rheumatology fellow from Stanford, 70% of people in the United States, 65 and older, have periodontal disease or gum disease. Okay, so if 70% of older people were walking around with wounds on their arms that never healed, that always bled, when even applying slight pressure, you go to the hospital, right? The problem with periodontal disease is it's insidious. It's silent. We don't really pay attention when we brush our teeth and spit and see a little bit of blood. Well, we should, because it's linked to a lot of life-threatening systemic diseases, like my grandmother who suffered a stroke. And from then on, our costs, she depleted her entire savings. And our family had to incur a lot of costs for care because of it. And so I stopped my career and completely switched gear to focus on the problem. So one of the components is something I feel more comfortable with, microbes. So they coat, it's kind of geek, but I know. So every single millimeter of your body is coated with these guys, particularly in the mouth. And the mouth is a great incubator for these guys. What feeds them? Sugar. Everyone loves sugar. We eat it every day. I just drank some wine, so my bacteria are immediately converting that sugar to acid. Acid causes tooth decay and gum inflammation, and is the root cause for a lot of periodontal disease. So our approach is super elegant. We screened a lot of compounds, drugs, nutritional supplements, nutrients, to try and figure out which combinations stop this process from happening. Because there's trillions of acid factories in the mouth, right? And what we came up with is a pretty elegant approach. And the ingredients turns out, funny enough, I thought drugs would be a better approach, but the best way to manipulate bacterial behavior turns out to be their Achilles heel, which is through sugar. So metabolism. So we're literally stopping their ability from pulling in sugar to make acid. And we put this simple ingredients in a lozenge, so that in a flip-top cap, so that people with arthritis, like my grandmother, who couldn't brush her teeth anymore, could at least pop one of these after she had her coffee or had breakfast. And it would stop that disease-causing process from happening. The cool thing is this is on Amazon for everyone to buy. The hard part has been for us to get this to the people who need it the most, those 65-year and older folks. And so why I'm here standing in front of you is because we're in the process of raising $1.5 million, because we need to hire people that are really good at creating this movement for preventative care, particularly in assisted living and nursing homes. And guess who the key innovators are, or key caretakers are? People like me, the adult children, where my parents are aging, right? And I'm seeing them go into the system, and I don't want to see them have the same problems my grandma had. And so we need a message to them. This is a huge market. No one's in this space in preventative oral care. We're the only ones. We think we can significantly impact this market and penetrate it. We're on a good trajectory. We have patents covering the novel composition of matter in over 30 countries. Trademarking, we de-risked the technology part. We formed the company recently. We were on Amazon. We're partnering with key movers in the space. We have grant funding, non-dilutive financing from the National Institute of Health for a placebo-controlled double-blinded study. We're partnering with groups like ABOVA and diagnostic labs to really create the information that's needed so I can take a disease-associated biofilm and transition it to a health-promoting biofilm to take care of people's mouths. This is our team. These are my co-founders. They're lovely, dedicated individuals.
That's right.
Who quit their jobs, making a lot of money, and came to work with us because this is unmet need. And I'm going to hit you with, in the last 30 seconds, 3 asks. 1, if you know people who really want to roll up their sleeves, we're team building right now, point them in my direction. 2nd, if you know folks we need to network with, pick up your cell phone, email them, ask them to refer them to me. And the 3rd thing is if you know people who want a good return on their investment and a de-risked entity with a compassionate team who wants to create change and impact, send them my way. Thanks.
Well done. Woo!
Thank you very much, Emily and David. I have to tell everyone, you can't see the timer. She was right on the money. It's fantastic. Great job. All right, so we'll turn this over to the judges. Start the clock on the 4 minutes. Questions from the judges. Barbara.
Hi. So you mentioned wanting $1.5 million to start a movement. Can you give us some idea of what that movement would look like, or how you would catalyze a movement like that?
Absolutely. So we have spent the past year really investigating the space for key leaders and opinion leaders and staff gaps, and basically, long story short, we know we need a social media presence. We know we need boots on the ground to create those relationships of engagement, to educate. So it would be, new hires would be heavy duty marketing, social media, and sales, and relationship managers.
Great, thanks.
Any questions? Troy.
How much does the product cost?
Awesome. So on Amazon right now, it's $24.99 for a month's supply, anticipating you're going to take it after you eat 3 meals a day. We do offer volume discounts for larger partners such as dental clinics and care facilities.
And how much does it cost to make?
So we make it in the United States, and these are highly pure ingredients, and so it costs a little bit more. We responsibly source them, so a lot of our ingredients come from Europe. So we are paying a little bit more, but we're making decent margins. And with scale, we'll make even better margins.
And does it actually replace toothbrushing? Or is it like what's the actual thing that it's replacing in your normal teeth routine?
Right. So Julie's in the audience, and she worked with us. She's a regulatory at Delta Dental, Minnesota, and she helped us actually really get our wording correct, so we were regulatory compliant. But it's not meant to replace. It's meant to supplement. However, for folks like my grandmother in assisted living, no one was taking care of her teeth, right? So it's the only shot she has. And she's not the only one. There's autistic. There's a lot of kids and disabled who really need that help. And so that's the only alternative. But yeah, I'm on it. My kids are on it. My parents are on it as a supplement.
You mentioned it was a $2 billion market. How do you figure that? $2 billion.
$2 billion is if you look at the healthcare costs in that focal. I'm not even including all of the 0 to 65-year-olds. That's a huge market. U.S. consumables is an $8 billion oral care market. So this is just focused on the 65 and older community based off of oral disease-related expenditures and costs associated with poor oral hygiene.
And how much of that do you think you can impact with this solution?
Yeah, so like I said, this is a white space. There's no one in the space. We are brand new to this space. We really want to own it. We think we can be very profitable really quickly if we have traction with key movers and shakers. And so that's how we're going to position ourselves. Like I said, if all goes well, we expect to have a significant portion of that market in about 5 years.
Yeah, but what I meant, if that's the healthcare expenditures as a result of not doing this,
Yes.
how much impact do you think this will have in terms of
Right.
reducing healthcare costs for this population?
Right. So
in addition to quality of life?
Right, so I flashed up there a couple of partners in the space, such as Silverado, their memory care company. They're going to be working with us to do the cost effectiveness and quality of life studies to make that economic argument.
Okay.
And that is our time. One more round of applause for the judges.